There's a popular trend lately in the horror genre where we're seeing classic childhood icons being turned into cursed horror movie adaptations, most notably from the Twisted Childhood universe. And while it seems like these folks have already tackled a lot of IPs in the last few years, they've barely been scratching the surface as there's still a million more options out there. And we're gonna propose some more ideas today, because after successfully doing it a couple months back, I asked you guys once again to give me cursed childhood horror movie ideas so I can turn them into concept posters. And I got another wave of responses from you guys, and so I've selected some very goofy choices today. So sit back, relax, and let me ruin your childhood once again. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video, and if you do all of that, then you are officially groovy. Alright, full disclosure before we begin, the main thing I'm going to try to do throughout this video is avoid repetition, which, now that I think about it, this whole video is already breaking that rule because it's literally a part 2 to a previous video, so oops. But what I mean by that is that I don't really want to reuse any movies that I used in the previous video. So for example, I made a Toy Story poster in the last video, so that means there's not going to be a Toy Story poster in this video. Does that make sense? Cool. So, in the words of the late great Ozzy Osbourne, let the madness begin. So this person suggested Bolt, Bluey, and Pingu. Now, I was actually going to do Pingu at first because I thought that'd be such a funny idea for a horror movie, but then I remembered back in the day they actually made a short film called Thingu, which is a parody of John Carpenter's The Thing, but it uses the characters from Pingu, and they actually reanimated it to look like the actual show. And when I thought about that, I was like, you can't exactly top perfection like that. So I figured, you know what, let's do Bluey, that would be funny. And here is the first poster of the video, folks, Blue Evil Dead, which, as I'm sure you can tell, is a play on words of The Evil Dead. And as you can see here, unfortunately, Bluey's dad was possessed by the Deadites because I guess Bluey or Bingo accidentally read the Book of the Dead. My money's on Bingo, but you can see that Bingo and Bluey are scared because they don't want to see their dad leak blood from his eyeballs, because that's pretty horrifying. And we have a tagline for this poster, and it says, even Bluey isn't safe from the Deadites. Yep, not even everybody's favorite Australian cartoon dog is inevitable from the Deadites. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, I guess. Alright, next poster. Caillou, a little kid that got too spoiled. Well, is it this kid in particular you want to see get spoiled? Because, yeah. I mean, that's just f***ing terrifying. So this retelling of everybody's least favorite bald kid is called Caillou Reborn, and I thought, you know, it'd be really funny if it would follow like this really weird individual who dresses up as Caillou just to get their way, by which I mean they probably mass murder a bunch of people, because this Caillou definitely has the look of a serial killer. And if you're wondering where I found this gorgeous image of Caillou, when I was working on this poster for this video, I came across this Instagram account called Makeup by Ruthie. She's a really talented makeup artist who does all these like recreation of famous cartoon characters, and honestly, I could have just made this whole video just on her work because, I mean, this is pretty much all she does. And it's awesome, but it's also terrifying. And she did one of Caillou, and it looks like a Backrooms entity. And I saw that, and I thought, you know, this is too perfect to not include in this video, so, yep, that's how it ended up in this poster. Hope I didn't give anybody nightmares over this one. I know I definitely did. This person asked me to do a Gravity Falls poster. Now, Gravity Falls is kind of already horror themed, so I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of hard to come up with ideas for this one. And wait, what? Do you guys hear that? It almost sounds like the theme from The Thing. Uh-oh. It's the Thing from Gravity Falls! So something you should know about me is that I am a massive fan of Gravity Falls. Like every year I would actually just watch the entire show whenever I have free time because it's a masterpiece, what else can I say? And there's so many different monsters from the show I could have repurposed for a poster, but there's one in particular that I thought was really good, and it's this creature from, I believe the episode is called Into the Bunker, where Dipper, Mabel, Wendy, and Seuss go into like this bunker because they're looking for the author of the journal, and they think they found him, but it's actually just a shapeshifter. And there's one shot in particular where they make this creature of like Dipper and Mabel, and it looks like a spider creature, and it looks just like it came out of The Thing. So yeah, that's how this poster was born. And the tagline is, "The bunker is the warmest place to hide," which of course is a riff on the famous tagline from John Carpenter's classic. So yeah, pretty simple poster, but I'm pretty satisfied with it. Alright, next. Maybe a horror movie based around Thomas and Friends. Oh, Oh great, another thing that was big in my childhood that I now get to ruin. I mean, we can't lie, Thomas the Tank Engine, he's kind of creepy, right? The face on the train. So how exactly do we make that even more terrifying? Well, you gotta make him a killer engine, obviously, and so that's how we got Thomas the Killer Engine. Yep, it's literally just a killer train that runs over people. That is the whole plot of the movie because I am so original. But I decided to spice it up a little bit and I gave Thomas some bloody eyes because horror. That's my only excuse. And as you can see, he's about to run over a helpless victim, aka a PNG I found from Google, because that's what most of these posters are. Now, I was originally thinking of maybe naming this movie The Terror Train, but there's actually already a horror movie called Terror Train, and it's got like Jamie Lee Curtis and David Copperfield. I've never seen it. It looks interesting. Maybe I'll have to check it out. So I didn't want to just have to copy and paste the title, so that's how we ended up getting Thomas the Killer Engine. And yeah, that's really all I got for this one. So next, would you do a Dino Dana horror poster? What the f is Dino Dana? Dino Dana. Oh. Okay. So Dino Dana is apparently this show about this young girl who's obsessed with dinosaurs. So, you know, that makes pretty good horror movie material. And so I decided to combine this franchise with maybe the most popular horror movie dinosaur of all time. The Velocipastor, of course. You know, that's everybody's favorite dinosaur, right? So yeah, this is literally just Freddy versus Jason, except it's Dino Dana versus the Velocipastor. Because that's the collab everybody's been asking for, right? And if you're thinking, oh, that's not horror movie enough? Well, good news, I threw in some zombies, and the movie also takes place in hell. So I hope you guys are satisfied about that. Also, I've actually never seen the Velocipastor, but I have seen clips from it, and it looks like a masterpiece. So I guess I gotta add that to my Letterboxd watch list or something. So there you go, Dino Dana versus the Velocipastor. Alright, next, Bob the Builder. Ah, everyone's favorite white guy. Which, by the way, I had no idea Bob the Builder was British until like recently. So that was definitely an interesting discovery for me. So we all know Bob the Builder likes using tools. But you know what evil Bob the Builder likes to use? Tools. Because ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Toolbox Murderer. Now, something you're gonna notice a lot throughout this video is that certain posters took way longer to make than other ones. Because not only did I edit the hell out of it to make it look like a 1970s horror movie poster, but I actually drew Bob holding a bloody hammer. Look at me, guys, I'm gonna be the next Leonardo da Vinci.
Da Vinci?
So yeah, we got Bob the Builder, and he is gonna kill people with tools, because obviously. And we have two taglines, the first one that says, he can fix your insides, and the other one being a play on words of the famous line from the song, can we kill them? Yes, we can. And also, if you're a true horror fan, you may notice that the title of this movie is actually inspired by a 1978 horror movie called The Toolbox Murders. Now, I know I said with the Thomas the Tank Engine one that I wasn't gonna use the same title from a previously used horror movie. Well, if you think about it, that movie is called The Toolbox Murders. This one is The Toolbox Murderers. I am so creative, right guys? But I mean, technically it is kind of a different title, so I guess I'm not breaking the rules here. If you want to yell at me in the comments about it, go for it. But yeah, that's The Toolbox Murderer. Alright, next. Cat in the Hat Dead Time Story, where the two kids get taken to the cat's world but more cursed, and can't find their way back. Oh, we got an actual plot for this one, huh? Well, I hope my poster is able to do your plot justice, because here you go. Cat in the Hat Dead Time Story, which is literally just analog horror but with Cat in the Hat, which for some reason is a super popular trend on social media right now. So real quick story, my friend randomly sent me an analog horror of Cat in the Hat, and I thought it was, you know, disturbing because I'm a normal person. And then I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden my Instagram feed was literally nothing but Cat in the Hat analog horror, and I was not able to sleep for the next few days after that. So that's nice. But yeah, I guess I wanted to replicate that into a horror movie poster because I have my own take on it. So I hope you like it, because I certainly don't. Yeah, we're gonna move on. Next, Smurfs. Okay, sure, why not? So, Smurfs are obviously like little creatures. You know what horror movie also has little creatures? Gremlins, of course. So that's what, yeah, it's Gremlins. It's literally just Gremlins with Smurfs. As the tagline implies, be careful what you Smurf for. In other words, if you're gonna adopt a Smurf, you gotta make sure you don't feed it after midnight, you gotta make sure you don't put it under bright light, and you gotta do the other rule. Yeah, don't do any of that. You got me? Alright, cool. You're gonna be such a great Smurf owner. Horror Sailor Moon. Alright, fine, but only because you've been begging me nonstop to do this one. So I'm gonna come forward with you guys. I am just not an anime fan at all. Like, you can put an anime character in front of me and I'm not gonna be able to recognize who it is. So because of that, I know absolutely nothing about Sailor Moon. So coming up with a poster for this one was kind of difficult, I'm not gonna lie. But I did come across this image of Sailor Moon that I thought was really cool, and so I decided to incorporate it into my horror movie poster. So please enjoy Sailraiser, which, yes, is literally just Hellraiser but with Sailor Moon. That's literally it. In fact, the tagline is literally just like the Hellraiser one, only it's demon to some, anime icon to others, because I literally don't know what Sailor Moon is other than she's a famous anime character. But I do know there are other characters in Sailor Moon, and you bet your ass that they are going to be the other Cenobites. For example, you got Sailor Jupiter, who would probably be, I don't know, the Butterball Cenobite. I mean, the resemblance between the two is uncanny, right? So yeah, it would be something like that. So if you're a fan of Hellraiser and Sailor Moon, I think I have just the movie for you, and it's probably not gonna ever be made, so sorry to let you down. I want to see Blue from Rio as an r/I'm sorry John-esque Eldritch horror. I have absolutely no fucking clue what that is, but I do know what Rio is, so we'll turn that one into a horror movie next. And here it is, folks, Rio's Revenge, which is literally just the characters from Rio attacking humans. So basically just a parody of The Birds, or Birdemic if you want to use that one instead. Another classic that I'm still sleeping on. I mean, seriously, look at those beautiful visual effects. And to further exemplify my lack of creativity here, you may have noticed that I drew eyebrows on Blue and Jewel, because that means they're evil all of a sudden, I don't know. And this tagline here says, "You take their rainforest, they'll take your lives," which I'm not gonna lie is probably my favorite part of this entire poster. Yeah, I feel like I could have done something better here, but at the same time, I don't know exactly what else I can do with this property, so you're getting this. So, if you know a better idea for a Rio horror movie, actually, matter of fact, if you know a better idea for any of the movies we've looked at so far, feel free to share them in the comments, I'd love to read them. I thought of Lorax Last Breaths. Well, I guess we're gonna continue the Dr. Seuss trend going on here, so here you go, Lorax Last Breaths. God, that is cursed, holy shit. So again, it's another pretty straightforward plot. We got this evil version of the Lorax, where if you cut down his tree, you face consequences. Just like this poor bastard at the bottom who got stabbed in the chest with a tree. But, you know, maybe it won't be a tree you get killed with. Maybe the Lorax will come up to you and chop your head off with an axe. Which, the more I think about that, I would actually pay to see that, because that sounds hilarious. But I'm not gonna lie, I think it'd be really funny if we saw like a subgenre of these twisted childhood universe movies, but it was only like Dr. Seuss properties. So you'd have the mean one, Cat in the Hat Dead Time Story, and then Lorax Last Breaths. Probably the greatest trilogy ever made since The Lord of the Rings. And as someone who's never seen the Lord of the Rings trilogy, that is a fact. Don't quote me on that. Try a Kung Fu Panda horror movie poster. Ah, the Dragon Warrior himself. Okay, here you go. Killer Fu Panda. What a creative title. So this one actually shares a lot of similarities to the Bob the Builder poster we looked at previously. First of all, it's paying homage to 1970s cinema again, this time the early 70s Kung Fu movies with Bruce Lee. And as a matter of fact, we're actually gonna resurrect Bruce Lee's corpse for this movie, so hope you're looking forward to it. But once again, we have another Horror Wombat artwork masterpiece, because I drew the panda breaking out of the cage at the very top. I would say he looks pretty good, except for those horribly drawn fur lines. We're just gonna pretend those are scratches. So yeah, this is pretty much just supposed to be like a Grindhouse movie, with a killer panda that gets on the loose, and it, let's just name him Poe for shits and giggles. But just because nothing makes sense anymore, we're also just gonna have a bunch of kung fu fights and choreography and stuff like that. So you get a little bit of everything in this movie, why not? Also, do you like the little Chinese writing I put off to the left? If you didn't know, I'm actually bilingual and I actually speak Chinese, and I definitely didn't use Google Translator to write that out. So the more you know. Alright, we got a few more posters left, so let's make these last ones count. It would be twisted to see an Alvin and the Chipmunks horror flick, with the monks as rabid versions of themselves and killing people. So Alvin and the Chipmunks as a horror movie is definitely funny, I will give you that. However, rabid chipmunks, it's kind of boring. I feel like we can do something a little bit more special than that. So how about we make them 50-foot Godzilla monsters, because, you know, that's funny. So what happened here is that the chipmunks got a hold of some magical potion that made them grow 50 feet tall, and Okay, fine, it gave them rabies. There, you happy now? But instead of killing people by tearing them apart, they use their loud, high-pitched singing voices to make people's heads explode. Oh, and also, as you may have noticed at the bottom left, we get a little cameo from Dave. That's how you really know this is an Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, because Jason Lee is just randomly there. Oh, also, what songs do you think they should be singing in this movie? You know what? Since I'm the one making this movie, we're gonna make the entire soundtrack just death and black metal. I want to see an Alvin and the Chipmunks cover of Hammered Smash Face. It needs to happen. What about Cookie Monster? Oh yeah, the guy that just interviewed Tom Holland? Yeah, let's make him into a horror movie. And let's call it Cookie Monster Carnage. So yeah, it's literally just evil Cookie Monster, and if you steal his cookies, he will come after you. So yeah, don't steal his cookies, guys. Which, now that I think about it, what would this version of Cookie Monster's favorite cookie be? My money is on Chewy Chips Ahoy, because only monsters like those kind of cookies. Seriously, if you like those, please reevaluate your life. I'm joking, okay? Don't actually take that seriously, please. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the final poster of the video, so here we go. This person requested The Incredibles. So we all know The Incredibles, the classic tale of a family of superheroes. Well, instead of a family of superheroes, how about a family of horror icons? Ladies and gentlemen, I give you The Slashables. Yeah, that title probably could have used some reworking. But hey, it's a superhero crossover with a bunch of horror icons. That's pretty cool. So why don't we go ahead and go down our cast of characters real quick. So we have Jason Voorhees fulfilling the Mr. Incredible slot. We got Freddy Krueger as Elastigirl, Billy the Puppet as Jack Jack, Sam from Trick or Treat as Dash, and Art the Clown as Violet. Or should I say Violence, because it's Art the Clown. He's a violent motherfucker. Matter of fact, all these guys are, now that I think about it. And the tagline I came up for this one was, wait, these aren't superheroes? And once again, we have another drawing by me, of course. And this one in particular took almost 3 to 4 hours to make. I seriously put all that time and effort to make a concept poster for a horror knockoff version of The Incredibles. The things I do for this channel. And if someone's watching this and probably thinking to themselves right now, oh, your drawing probably could have used a few more tweaks here and there. Can you shut up? Seriously, can you actually shut up? This is for a YouTube video, okay? I'm not trying to be the next fucking Pablo Picasso, alright? Did that come off as passive aggressive? I'm sorry. So, yeah, I figured this be a good one to end on because, let's face it, I'm not gonna top this masterpiece anytime soon. So there you have it, another wave of stupid childhood horror movie posters. I hope you guys had a fun time watching me make slop again for you guys. And of course, be sure to let me know which of these posters was your favorite. And I mean, if this video does well, maybe I'll consider doing a part 3. F it, let's make a trilogy of this bitch. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. See ya.